other stories, and police have taken over the Gyaaman Pensan Senior High School at Abuasing in the Kwabri East District of the Ashanti region. Many students there are said to be injured following rioting in the school Sunday night. The students were protesting a decision by school authorities to scrap entertainment events. JoyNews' Kwesi Deborah joins us on the line to give us more details. And Kwesi, what exactly happened in the senior high school?
Hello, Daniel.
Yes, Kwesi, if you can hear me, we want to know what exactly happened in the senior high school over the night.
Well, according to the students that we spoke with, the agreed students, they're accusing the headmaster of not allowing them to partake in any recreational and also sporting activities. They referred, for instance, to the inter-schools competition, which has been barred from going, and that's from the headmaster. So they agreed, and they are demonstrating against the headmaster for taking such a decision against them. Daniel.
Right. So, Kwesi, hold on for a moment for me. We understand you've been speaking with the headmaster of this school. Let's hear from him, and then we'll come back to you, Kwesi.
We need advice from Director of Education. So, Director of Education is here. So, we are going to meet just now. The District Director of Education is around. The Regional Director of Education is here. The Queen Mother and then the elders of Abuasu is also here. The board chairman is with us. So what we are going to do is I want to meet and put our heads together. We'll find a lasting solution to the problem. We've heard some information there, but we can't rely on them till we investigate and come out with the actual fact of the demonstration. Then we take it from there. The recommendation for the committee will let us know the next action to take. So what we are going to do now is to meet with the Directorate of Education, set a committee, they investigate and then come out with their findings, and then the recommendation.
And there's a total of such incidents
in the course of almost 2 months now.
Yes,
the first one started from Kofi Ajay. We met, they just submitted their report on that demonstration. Then same senior high also followed the same thing, and today is Gyaaman Pensan Senior High. So we don't want it to spread to other places. We want to put our heads together and then make sure that we find a lasting solution to this problem so that it doesn't spread to other schools and even beyond the boundaries of Kwabri East District Assembly. So that's what we are going to do now.
So that was, beg your pardon, Osei Sibebonsu. He's the district chief executive for the area. We still have on the line with us Kwesi Deborah. So Kwesi, we just heard Mr. Bonsu talking about meeting with all the relevant stakeholders to get a solution to what has happened in the school. Has that meeting begun? Has any headway been made? Yes,
the meeting has begun. Mind you, the housemaster's flat, including the headmaster's flat, we're all talking about the louver blades and everything, they're all brought down. So they're going to find out, they are going to sit and see the way forward with regards to how they're going to ameliorate all those things, as to clean for everything, and also how and bring these students to book, because now they are conducting so many investigations. This is the third time such a situation has happened in the district, and they're trying to find a solution to it. They are not done with the last one, which happened at Kofi Ajay Senior High School. And this has also come. So they are not going to sit and see the way forward, what they can do to bring this whole thing to an end. Because it's becoming rampant in the district. Right.
From what you're telling me, the meeting is not over yet.
No, it's not over, but it's supposed to be of course, a closed-door meeting. And with what we've heard, they're not going to brief us after the meeting is done. But what they are saying is that, yes, they're not going to brief us after the meeting is done. But what they are saying is that there's not going to be the closure, there's not going to be closure of the school. Classes are going to be in session starting from tomorrow. And so we have asked that the headmaster and also the school authorities look for the numbers of those who went, the parents of those who went home, so that they can call them to come back to the school. So classes can continue starting
But how
tomorrow.
are students reacting to this whole situation?
They are probably worried. We spoke with the majority of them, and what they're saying is that they wouldn't want to blame their mates for this whole action. What they're saying is that the headmaster has to be blamed for this. He is trying to impede or trying to stifle their freedom a bit. So they are worried. They are thinking that should this situation continue, or the headmaster, should he be imposed? Those things are going to happen, and it's not going to all go well for the development of the school.
Now, Kwesi, finally, I heard you refer to a similar incident in Kofi J Senior High School. I heard also the DC for the area make a similar statement. Are these demonstrations related in any way?
Yes, they all have to do with the headmasters. That's what we know. There's the headmasters, but it has to do with administration. The issue is to do with administration. But they are quite separated. They are not in tandem. I think it's not a similar situation, but they all have to do with the headmasters.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kwesi Debra. He's a man on the ground there in Gyaaman Pensan Senior High School. Now, we'll move on to JoyNews agenda now. And in many Zongo communities across the country, marrying young is common. This is because many of the girls in such communities have little or no motivation to go to school or pursue a career. In today's edition of JoyNews agenda, focusing on Zongos, Matilda Hwemega returns from the Gyaaman Zongo with a story of a young woman who quit her marriage to pursue her true dreams because she was married off too young. She's advocating for a scholarship scheme and counseling units to address the growing demands of the Zongo youth.
Over the years, communities such as the Gyaaman Zongo have been left behind in development planning, which most often than not results in their needs not being properly identified. This results in the lack of basic social amenities. With the coming of government's flagship Zongo Development Fund, this is expected to bridge the development gap in densely populated communities such as the Gyaaman Zongo. The Gyaaman Zongo is obviously one of the most prominent and frequently mentioned Zongo communities in Ghana. Beyond the slum, the insanitary conditions and the negative perception of persons born and raised in Zongo, the status quo is gradually changing. Inside one of Gyaaman beauty salons, Fati does makeup for women in this area. Fati is a young lady in her late 20s. She was born and raised in this community. She married at a very young age. Fati believes young ladies in Zongo communities who missed out on formal education can still make something meaningful out of their lives.
Most of our parents are being influenced by money. So in this case, when the person just comes in and has something small to give to the parent, and they are confused. So our parents should just exercise patience. Sometimes they should listen to us. Your girlfriend will get married, and she's like, she'll be throwing the veils at you and stuff. Sometimes.
So, okay, the veil which symbolizes the marriage.
You know, sometimes it gets to a point that's like kind of competition. Everybody wants to settle down. Everyone wants to settle down. I was just eager to settle down. So I was able to, grab one.
You were just carried away.
No, I was able to grab one. And so I got married.
So why did you decide to leave the marriage?
He was out of town, and I had so many opportunities to, work and stuff. And he kept telling me not to do it, not to work. I should just be home. He would do everything for me. And everything too wasn't coming. If I come back home and complain, and my parents are like, it's not anything, just for the sake of marriage, just go. But I realized I was just doing myself so many harm. You understand? I was left all alone in the...
So you decided to come out of the marriage?
Yes. It wasn't easy. For now, most of our ladies, we don't want to be the housewife types. We want to also support the family and cater for our children. Sometimes when you depend on the men, they are not very supportive. You end up just being home, doing nothing and useless. So it's about time we just rise to our feet and do what's best. In this modern era, things are changing by the grace of God. Girls are being encouraged to enroll themselves into schools and other trades.
Hasia is one of the apprentices in Fati's beauty shop. She wants to become a beautician. She has unique skills in dressmaking. Her biggest worry is how to find enough money to set up her own beauty salon after her training.
wanted to have my handwork, so I started. I went to learn how to sew.
Okay.
Yeah. So gradually.
So you dropped out of secondary school
Yeah.
to learn how to sew.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I completed it, and later I got married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you married off like it's usually done in the
No. On my free roll. I did it on my free roll.
So how is marriage for you?
For now, I'm off.
You are off?
Yeah.
When you say you are off, how do you mean?
I'm divorced.
You are divorced?
Yeah.
How long did the marriage take?
I think 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah.
Part of the 100 million cedi Zongo Development Fund must also be targeted at creating counseling units within the Zongo communities. Fati and her friends believe this is one surest way of shaping the mindset of the youth in the Zongos.
You can ensemble all the youth at a spot. So when there is a counseling unit in a spot where if the child or the youth is having challenges, is having any problem, where he or she can confide in a person to bring out her issues to be addressed, I think that would help.
Through their own efforts and support of family and friends, these young women are already building themselves up with a career. They have high hope the Zongo Development Fund will go a long way to improve lives, only if a non-partisan approach is adopted towards the distribution of projects under the fund. This is of concern to the chief of Gyaaman Zongo, Alhaji Ibrahim Salisu, and some opinion leaders.
But I think if we don't play politics, it will go a long way to go. Because in terms of any outbreaks, it doesn't know any political affiliation. We will be all affected. So that I think when we don't play politics, it will be good for us all.
The development fund can succeed if they put the partisan thing aside. Because when the thing started, the last time when the minister came, as if, it belongs to one person. And they forget that whenever they voted, they all belong to us.
The Zongo Development Fund is one of government's flagship programs aimed at bridging the development gap in the country. For JoyNews, Matilda Pamaga, Gyaaman Zongo.